This is a review of the Central Pneumatic 6-inch self-vacuuming air palm sander from Harbor Freight. To start off with, it uses a 6-inch pad with a hook and loop attachment type. The speed is 9,000 RPMs, uses 7 cubic feet per minute at 90 psi, requires 90 psi. It has a 1/4 inch by 18 NPT inlet right here, and it recommends using a 3/8 inch ID hose. For continuous use, it suggests using a 30+ gallon compressor. For reference, I am using a 1/4 inch ID hose and I've had no problems with it running correctly. In the box was a small wrench, the hose, a cotton bag, and the sander. It did not come with a quick disconnect. I had to install this myself. The hose attaches with just plastic seal. This is just rubber that sits over this. It came with this pad. It's a flexible pad on the edges so you can get in the corners on your car. This is roughly 1/2 inch thick. Here is a normal 6-inch sandy pad from Harbor Freight as well. It works great. No issues with it coming off. It just sits on like that. As far as size, I have a normal size hand and it feels good in the hand. You just press down on this paddle for it to work correctly. Here is a regulator. I've had no problems with it going out of control. It has smooth operation. This is a random orbit sander. So this orbits around like this, and this orbit movement causes it to spin. To be clear, it is not a forced spin drive, so I could hold it while it's in use. It'll continue to orbit, but it won't spin. The sandbag has not been functioning well at all. There's barely any sand in here at all. Even though it does exhaust and I see this bag blow up, it's not good at collecting the dust here. As you can see, I have this installed correctly. The holes are clearly visible and there should be a direct path for the dust to travel, but it's just not collecting the dust. Now I'm going to demonstrate the sander in use. Here's my quick disconnect hose. I'm just going to put it on like this. I'm going to demonstrate the regulator real quick. So now there's nothing. As I slowly turn this, there's actually just a very short range of motion that allows this to go from no air to full air. Also, you should not run this while there's no load on it because it will wear out the internal components prematurely. And here's the demonstration of the sander so you can see how fast it's spinning. I'm not going to put any extra weight on the sander. I'm barely holding the paddle down and the only weight on it is the weight of the sander itself. I'm going to push down on it to show you how it will stall out if you put too much pressure. It actually produced a lot more torque than I thought it would. Even with putting 30+ pounds on it, I couldn't get it to completely stop. All in all, I give it a 4 out of 5. For functionality, it works great. If I was outdoors working on my car and had no issues with dust, it'd be completely fine. But since I'm working indoors, I needed this dust collection to work correctly, and it does not work correctly at all, really. There's no dust in here at all after sanding for several hours on the treads. But as far as fit and function, it feels great. It feels heavy. I think there's good quality. You do need to oil this before every use. You just put a few drops in the inlet right here and it should last for years. And that concludes my review of the Central Pneumatic self-vacuuming air palm sander from Harbor Freight.